Let's talk about a fighter called Adam Watt and what happened to this fighter in prison, right? So I'm going to turn this do ring fighters get automatic respect? No, they don't get automatic respect. No one gets automatic respect in jail, bro. Like, obviously, respect's the same as out here, bro. You earn it. Like, everybody's, like, you're respected if you're in the main having a go. But, like, just being polite, being you, being hearing, seeing, and reacting to nothing gets you respect. Being polite, being approachable gets you respect. But jail is not like where everybody says it's like blood in, blood out, and it's like straight in, you got to learn how to kill or be okay. It's not like that. You know what I mean? Like, this is what people need to get like a grip on, like the movies love to exacerbate and exaggerate certain things about isn't It's not that way inclined. Isn't can get violent when it needs to be violent. 6 days out of the week or 7 days out of the week, bath 3 hours out of a day. Jail is like normal. Then when it gets hectic, it gets hectic. And when it's quiet, it gets really, really quiet. So, yeah, but let me tell you something about ALJ, and this is to the youth out there now. When it does get hectic, it's one of the only places that you can't run from. Simple. When it gets dangerous, it lets you know if you're there for, if you're about it, or if you're not about it, because there's no place for you to go when it's real. When it's time to be real, there's a lot of people that don't want to be there. So to the youth of today that think they're about it right now, when you go to Isn't and you get somebody else that's 10 years older, done 10 years more jail, and have a lot more experience in a prison cell, yeah, it's not a very comfortable place to be in. So to all you youth out there today that think that this is fun and games and you're all about it, rethink your lifestyle and your decisions before it's too late. And the ones you love are mourning you. And what I mean by mourning you, not going to the grave or not, but once you're removed from your family and you're put in prison, you learn to adapt. Your family never do. So every day is a heartache for them because they don't get what we get in prison. They don't see what we see in prison. So they're left with memories of blood in, blood out, all these jail videos and all these newspaper articles, because newspaper articles never report on a quiet day in prison. Newspaper articles will never report on Kairos coming to prison and giving church and all these talks and people trying to change your life. Newspapers don't write on that. But as soon as an Mrrc gets bashed or an inmate gets stabbed or there's a riot or there's a strike, news reporters will write and run with that for days. So your family sits out here and thinks the worst constantly. So when you're in prison, your family out here are bleeding from the heart daily while you're in there doing your thing. So understand that, jail is a mug's game and you need to change your mind now before it's too late. But tonight's story obviously is about jail and about two IPFAs that I seen. One I was half by, took part in. The second one, I just sat back and watched it. The first one is about a fighter called Adam Watt. Now, someone asked me just then in this chat, what happens to fighters in prison? Now, usually nothing, but when it does, it gets nasty for him. So this Adam Watt was pinched on a shooting and massive upgrades. He was a 3-time world champion or 5-time world champion kickboxer. He comes to Silverwater Jail. One of my best mates, if you know his name, you know his name, was at Silverwood with me. Now, they had a bit of an issue, right? And the issue, ended up, like all issues, throwing hands, right? Now, my mate pulled this bloke out, and I said to my mate, listen, bro, you need to be very, very careful. This bloke's about it. He can bang. Are you sure you want to do this? My mate is just a stubborn Irish dude, right? From the city. He said, lad, eat what, let's ode. So my mate and this Adam Watt goes up to the cell. Now, Adam Watt beats my mate. And my mate is a very bad loser, very sore loser. If you knew his name, you'd know exactly who I'm talking about. If you know this story, you know exactly who I'm talking about. So my mate and Adam have a fight in the cell. Adam, cleans my mate up, right? like Adam leaves and he walks out because my mate had a very, very big name in prison and done almost 20 years straight for Erdemay, been to Supermax, been to STG, he was on EHS. He was very well known in the system for being violent. This was his claim. He was violent. That was it. There was no in-betweens with this bloke. He was either very, very violent or he was just him, right? 9 times out of 10, he was always in Segro. He was very rarely out in the main. When he was in the main, he would be back into segregation very quickly for an act of violence. So Adam Watt got into a fight with my mate and beat him, right? Now, Adam Watt walked back out of the cell telling the whole wing, see, he's not that. Like, what are you scared of him for? He's not about it. He's not this, he's not that. And walked out of the cell and sat down at Silverwater at the tables that are near the office, boasting about what he just did to my mate. Now, me and my mate had left the cell, went straight back to another cell. And I said, bro, what do you want to do? And he's like, lad, I'm going to cave him, lad. And I said, are you sure? He said, yeah, lad, I'm going to unalive him, lad. Ask him for he's getting okay, right? And this is what I'm saying to the youth right now. Because you think it's over, don't ever think that it's over. And this is how quick something can change from throwing hands to almost losing your life. Or you getting another 25 years on top of your jail sentence, all over pride, really pride, and like a situation that could have been dealt with in a whole different manner. But when pride gets involved in prison, it's the most dangerous mix of all. Jail and pride Beck, thank you for all the gifts, can lead to people doing 20, 30, 40 to life in prison, because once your pride is damaged in prison, the only way you can get your pride back in your mind is to be violent, and this leads people to do things that they wouldn't usually do and become people who they wouldn't usually become. So my mate has fallen into the trap of pride, right? So we're sitting in the cell and I said, what do you want to do? He said, bro, I don't know, but I'm going to wreck him. I said, all right, bro, I'm sweet, I'm down. Now we're hearing the chat from all these other people that have just seen and heard what just happened to my mate. Like I said, my mate's got a massive name in prison. You know the story, you'll know the name. I'm not mentioning the name, but yeah, you'll know, right? So he's sitting down there and he's got his legs up on a table, sitting on a plastic chair. Now he's acting arrogant, right? Everyone else down at that table is not really wanting to be part of the conversation because they know what my mate's about. They also know what I'm about. And there's only 2 of us, but there's 5 of them, right? Now they're telling their mate, Adam, listen, don't turn your back on these blokes and do not think it's over. And he's like, over? Lad, I was in there 30 seconds. It was light work. Like, he knows, lad. Like, oh, it's done for me. Like, he doesn't want this smoke. It's done. And they're saying, lad, you don't know what you've just done, and you don't know who you just done it to, and you're going to have big dramas. Do not turn your back on these people, especially the bloke that you just bashed, right? So anyways, me and my mate are talking. My mate grabs a 4-slice Breville, right? Like the flat press Breville's. He grabs one. And I said, what are we going to do, lad? He said, I'm going to go and put this over his head. I said, are you sure? He said, yeah, sweet. I said, all right, done, say less, right? So Silverwater, if you've been to Silverwater, you know how the pod's set out. If I'm looking straight into the pod now, I'm in a black cage. The pod has an office right next door, right? That opens up. You got your yard. There's a yard there. The whole wing is here. So you got 2 stairwells, that one goes up, and it leads to your top landing. Underneath is a bottom landing, and here is 3 tables, like 3 round tables, right? And you got plastic chairs that move around the wing to where you want to sit, right? So they're sitting right down in the middle of the middle table of the 3, right in the middle. So I come down one set of stairs. Silver Bullet, thank you for the join. He's come down one set of stairs, right? He's had the Breville hidden behind his back. They're all in discussion, talking, right? And he thought that he was that great of a fighter that he hurt my mate so bad that my mate would be too frightened to come back. His mates had tried to tell him, listen, bro, don't turn your back on this bloke. This bloke turned his back. My mate approached from the side, bang, hits him with the Breville. The noise that I heard when Breville met Skull was sickening. It was sickening. This bloke stiffened up, fell straight off the back of his chair, straight on the ground. His three mates jump up and automatically move back from the table. I now come and I put myself in between them, him, and my mate. And this is on camera. My mate brings the Breville from back of his ankles up over his head and shoulder, bang, straight back down onto the bloke's skull. 3 times. Bang, bang, bang. The Breville snaps, goes flying in different pieces and scatters throughout the whole wing. The officers now hear the second and third thuds of Breville meeting head, meeting concrete. They hear the thuds. This bloke is snoring, full gone, comatose, knocked out. My mate then, what's left of the Breville, turns on his other 2 mates. Out of pride, again, out of pride. I know you've been talking about me. I know you've been running me down. I don't know what you've been saying, and you've probably been laughing at me. Now, let's go. I'm in this mood. I'm in this state of mind. I'm about to really wreak havoc. Let's go. This is all pride right now. Adrenaline and pride. That's the 2 dangerous mixes in prison. So my mate's he doesn't know what he's done to this bloke yet. He just doesn't know yet. He knows what he's done, but you don't know the state of this bloke. There's claret everywhere. He's not moving. He's not breathing. He's full out to it, right? And like I say to the young people today, this is all education and entertainment purposes only. To all you young people today that think that, like, it's easy, this part of the jail is the realest part you'll ever be involved in. And to either be a victim of this or a perpetrator of this, one way or another, your life's about to change. And it's up to you which way that happens. You either go home or you don't. There's no in between with prison when it comes to stuff like this. And there's people that actually don't care if they do go home. And this person was one of them people. He made his mind up to spend his whole life in ALJ. So because he had made that up in his mind, he acted like he was never getting out. This is why he committed offences like this continuously in prison on inmates and officers. So now, like I said, pride's kicked in. He's now going to attack his other mate that they've been talking to after the assault first happened. Officers come running in. He goes to attack old mate. His mate that's been laughing and talking about the fight 20 minutes beforehand has now taken off. He doesn't want to be in front of my mate and he doesn't want any part of it. The officers come, they grab my mate, they grab me, and they remove us from the wing and put us in Segre. The clinic come running in, right? When the clinic come running in and they see Adam Watt on the ground, they assume he's now been unalived, right? Obviously, he's not at that point yet, but he's in a bad, bad way. Ambulance come, they rush him off. He has emergency surgery to his skull, face, eye socket, cheekbone, jaw, nose, to his whole face. He's having massive surgery right now. Remember, this bloke is pinched on a massive import, and I think he was charged with a ooding shade in a driveway, and he was charged with the Erdemay. I'm not quite sure on that, but I know that he was charged with the Ugdrays. I'm pretty sure he was charged with a double tapping, right? So anyways, he goes to hospital and he gets operated on. He's in a coma for months, in a juice coma, because he's got that much swelling on his brain. His face is actually broken. So they've put him in a coma for his own, healing and to be pain-free and for his own benefit, I suppose. So he's in a coma, right? Well, when he wakes up out of a coma and they bring him to, he goes through the process of trying to remember who he was. He does not remember that he's in jail. He does not remember his name. He does not remember his charges. He doesn't know why he's in hospital. right? So this bloke has been pinched for a massive, massive importation, and I'm pretty sure he was on an Erdemay, right? He ends up going to court. His solicitor says, listen, he's been assaulted in jail. He has now been diagnosed with clinical amnesia, and they're unsure when he's going to get his memory back. He's unfit to stand trial because he can't give himself the proper defense and the best defense that he is required to give. They give him bail. They actually give him bail because he's not in the right state of mind to defend the charges that he's on. He doesn't remember what charges he was on. He doesn't know how he got charged for these matters. He doesn't even know what his name was, his date of birth. He didn't know who the Prime Minister was. He knew nothing. His whole life has been wiped from his memory, and he's now a walking like vegetable when he talks. He's now like slurred in his speech. Yeah, Duke. He's now slurred in his speech. He's not the person that was once ever. He forgot that he was a 5-time world champion. He forgot everything up until that day. He forgot everything up until that day. So yeah, again, be very, 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 very dangerous at a drop of a hat because pride gets involved. Also, the other fight I want to talk about, and that's answering the question. Someone asked me about how do fighters go in prison. Like, there's no real deterrent for people not to fight a fighter. Like, it's actually more of a a red flag to a bull sometimes, because people love to test themselves in prison. People love to push the limits in prison. That's why they're there in the first place. So not all the time. Pretty much not all the time. A lot of people train with them. A lot of people get tips off them. But, a lot of other people like to push themselves. Now, also, there was a fight that happened at Grafton when I was there with a young brother and an old brother. This brother was like 25, 26 at the time. His name was Nangai. God bless Nangai. Shannon Whiteman from Mrrc Madness. If you knew or understood who Nangai was, you would know who I'm talking about. It was sad to see the way Nangai went later in life. Nangai also started to lose his mind, and it's very funny that, like, brothers that done jail with me, a lot of them that have gotten out now have started to lose their mind. I don't know if it's something that prison has done to them over the time, if it's Ugdrays, what it is, but a lot of brothers that I've done jail with previously in the race wars, in the time of where jail was actually jail, they've all got out now and become mentally unstable. And I don't know why or what it is down to, but it's sad for me to see some of the most toughest men control a yard and be that brutal to get out here and struggle because they've lost their mind. And when you see them here and when you used to see them in prison, you just can't understand that they're the same people. These people had other killers, unalivers, scared of them, and then when you see them out here, they're half the person they used to be. They're half of they're just so different. It breaks my heart to see like brothers that are struggling outside. Nangai RIP, he has passed away now. So to any person from Mrrc, anybody that knows Shannon Whiteman, I apologise, but I'm about to talk about and name a brother that is no longer with us. So anybody out there that knows him, that knows his family, if this story is a little bit distressing or may upset you because he's now passed and I'm speaking on his name, I apologise, and maybe you don't want to listen. But again, all respects to the Whitemans, to anybody that's related to Shannon. I loved him from the bottom of my heart. We done boys' homes together. We done jail together. I used to travel to Mrrc and see Nangai and his mum when I was out. So Nangai will forever be missed and will always hold a special place in my heart. So Shannon was only young. We were young and we were at Grafton. Again, pride and like just being young, thinking that you're all, full of testosterone, always wanted to test yourself. There was another brother up there by the name of Reynolds. Anyways, Ren was an old school brother. He had a bit of pull, but Nangai didn't respect him. Nangai had his reasons not to respect him, so Nangai always tried to start on him, or he was always disrespectful with his words to him, and he was always trying to push the boundaries and the limits to get this older brother to start on him, right? Well, one day it happened. Nengai got what he wanted, and it was over a volleyball game. Chat, I feel like I'm frozen. I just want to ask the fuck me, bruh. Seriously, what's going on here? Chat, I was looking at my thing. Am I frozen? Nah, sweet. All right, I'm gonna turn the comments back off. Nah, because I was looking at my movements and I thought, bruh, like, what's going on here? I feel like I'm frozen. What, dude? Big Red, how are we? So yeah. Anyways, you're right, mate. You're right. Yeah. Thank you, TikTok Boom. Shay, thank you for the follow. No, it's right. El De Niro, love you. I'm going to turn the comments back off, get into this story. Now, listen real quick before I do. Double tap, repost, share, and let's try to achieve. Listen, the live goal helps me push to A-League. So we need 2 fiery dragons and 1 meteorite shower. Please do not leave it to Jace S tonight. He's achieved all the goals so far. So if anyone can, we need 2 fiery dragons, 1 meteorite shower. We're pushing for A-League. Oh, he did, yeah, see, yeah. Yeah, he did, bro. He sued a jail and got a payout, yeah. So you went and seen, yeah, well, that was me and I was there and my very good mate was there. If you know the name, you know the name. But yeah, that was crazy. It was ruthless and it was insane. Snipe Lord, thank you. Now, yeah, listen, so chat. Mate, yeah, exactly, yeah. And this is what I mean. But before that, he was all about it. But then when it got real, yeah, well, MC, you know who I'm talking about. About Uncle Nangai, yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Django, that's the bloke, bro. And that's why now we don't have Breville's in the jail. Anyways, I love you. Oi, I love you. That's my cousin right there. She always comes through for me. Oi, anyways, I love you. No more now. I appreciate you anyways. Yeah, definitely stay in touch. Inbox me later. If anyone else can help my cousin, we need 2 fiery dragons. We're trying to push to A-League. I want to get into A-League. I don't know why I want A-League so much, but I think because I've been sitting on B1 for almost 2 weeks, I want to try to push to A-League this week, because once you get to A-League, you don't drop out. So if I can get to A-League chat, boy, it'll be hectic. But we used to fight as kids, but as you said, he never forgets, yeah. Nah, don't drop the magic mist. What's A-League? A-League is, see how I'm in B-League now? I'm in B1. Number 8, I need like 1 more shard or a couple more points or a couple more diamonds, and I get to I'll get to A-League. I don't know how to find out how far I'm off A-League. Or you drop the mist and the glove, TikTok Boom, when we're battling. So yeah, don't drop them now. You drop them when we battle. Yeah, shards, lad. What the fuck? Yeah, lad. Oi, what the fuck, bro? Yeah, so when we battle, you drop them. Dawn, Robin, bros. What's happening, cuz? Matey, thank you. Now let me get back to this story. But yeah, if we can chat, if we can get 2 fiery dragons, less Oj, and I know between all us here, no way. Boy, thank you, Maria Morrigan. Tongan Blue, thank you for sharing the live, my bro. Boy, thank you, AR, for sharing the live. I appreciate you all. So if we can push, we need the 2 gifts, the fiery dragons. If we can do that, chat. No way, legend. I weigh 89 kilos, bro. 11.5% body fat. We chat while I'm talking. I'm going to be watching to see if anyone reshares, reposts, double taps, and if we get these two dragons. I really, really would appreciate while I'm talking if we can get the 2 fiery dragon heads. Like, let's we're not a gang, we're a family. Let's edit get done. Let's get to A-League and this is the real takeover. This is where it starts right now. Let's get them fiery dragon heads together. Let's Oge. So, Nangai and Ren, they have a fight at Grafton, right? Doc, that's done. Well, Eshe lad. Now, it started over a volleyball. Volleyball at Grafton. If you've been to Grafton Old Jail, not Clarence, the Old Jail, you got 1 and 2 wing. That's the whole jail. Now, Grafton is one of the smallest prisons in New South Wales. It's probably smaller than Tamworth. Tamworth has never had me because of my history. They would never, ever have me, and I've never been pinched up that way to go to Tamworth, so I'm probably blessed. But Grafton, I made Grafton one day, and Busta Burns and I together wanted out of there. That's another story I'm going to tell you straight after this. So we're at Grafton, right? And Grafton has a concrete section where you play touch football, cricket, laps, and volleyball or racquetball, right? Or racquetball's under the shower, near the showers. They boys had the volleyball set up. Now, the volleyball obviously will go out of play sometimes, go hit tables, go across and hit other people. A couple of times, Ren and the boys would get hit by the ball and Ren would get angry. Now, Ren was a bit of a trump or had a bit of a name in prison back then, but it started to die off later with rumours and whatnot. And, like, if you know, you know. If you don't know, well, I guess you don't need to know. But, yeah, at the end, his name started getting thrown around a little bit. A lot of people started to, like, maybe lose a little bit of respect for him, each to their own. And at this time, but his name held some weight, right? But Nangai didn't care. So Ren done something to the ball. He kicked it over or popped it or whatever, and Nangai pulled him out. Well, they had a fight in the middle of the yard. Now, when they both shaped up, everyone was like, fuck, Nangai and Ren, Nangai and Ren, Nangai and Ren. I always knew Nangai had hands of a demon. Like, if you grew up with Nangai, you know Nangai. He was only a short, stocky, Aboriginal bloke. Ren was 6'2", 6'3", 130 kilos, right? Like, always trained, but he was big and heavy set, right? Well, in the yard, and again, this comes to pride, in the yard, Nangai punched the piss out of Ren, like full punched the piss out of Ren. 1, it took the whole jail by surprise. 2, it took Ren by surprise, and Ren's pride then had to kick in, right? So Nangai and Ren had the fight in the yard, and Nangai literally, like, it was a good fight. It was a hard fight, but Nangai got him. And everyone said to Nangai, listen, bro, you just bashed the old Trump. Like, bro, you're the new Trump. Like, you know, when you fight a pug on the mission or you fight one of the tough blokes from your area and you get the victory, you take his spot. That's the rule kind of thing, right? And that's what the pug fights for. The pug fights to continue to be the pug, or the Trump fights to continue to be the Trump. If you lose, and that bloke that beats you, you know, like, obviously you go again, but if you lose that fight, the bloke that beat you automatically steps into your role. Even if he doesn't want to, people will automatically give him the respect that they gave you, right? That's the way of the land, that's the way of the law. So what happened was, Ren's pride started to play into his own ego and thought, you know what, I can't rest on that, I can't let that slide, I'm pulling him out again, right? So what he did was he took off into the wing. Now, when he fought Nangai in the yard, and again to all these young'uns out there, there's little tricks of the trade in prison about how you fight or when you fight, or about bandaging your hands. A lot of people in prison will think you bandage your hands not to catch a disease of somebody else, like Hep C, HIV, or have any broken skin or blood to blood contact. Also, why you wrap your hands are because you can hold stuff in there and you can strengthen your knuckles and your grip. This is what was said to us later when someone went to wrap Ren's hands. He had lighters, 2 lighters on top of each other, like the vape, and he had his hands wrapped, right? So when you punch, your hand is full stiff, your wrist is stiff, and you feel like bang. What happened was Nangai grabbed and said, listen, bro, we're going to the cell. He wants to fight me at lunch in the cell. Bro, go and fight him, lad. All good. Nangai and Ren go into the cell. Ren's hands are bandaged. Nangai's ain't. Well, when Ren and Nengai went in the cell, you got to understand, Ren was a massive 6'4" bloke, 130 kilos. Nengai was probably 5'6", 5'7", like 90 kilos. So the cell is now beneficial for Ren, right? The yard was beneficial for Shannon. And these are all things that you have to take into consideration when you're fighting in jail. What benefits you the most? Where do you need to attack somebody to get the most out of you? Like, fighting in a cell benefits taller and bigger blokes. Fighting in the yard and open space helps smaller, shorter people to get up, under, and get space. So these are all things that people take into consideration when they're going to pull somebody out or have a fight in prison. Once the fight took place in the cell, Ren and Nengai, like, it was all over. Ren got Nengai in the cell. And Nengai said, sweet, I copped that, all good. But I know he had something in his hands, cuz. I said, what are you saying, bro? What do you mean? He said, bro, when he was punching me in the yard, I never felt him. I never ever felt him, bro. When he was hitting me in the yard when we first had the fight, I was walking through him, bro. Like, I never felt him. They weren't phasing me. But when he started rocking me in the cell, lad, they were so much different. They had so much more weight on him. I know he had something in his hands. I said, bro, he wouldn't do that. You're another young brother. Why would he do that? Like, it's not a racial war. It was just a one-on-one. Why would he go to that kind of lengths if he didn't think that you had a chance of beating him in the cell? So I was trying to say to him, like, no way, bro. He's an older brother. Like, he wouldn't do that, bro. No need to do that. He said, bro, I'm telling you now, the way he was hitting me in that cell, bro, he had something in his hands. I felt the difference in the power of the punches, bro. I felt the difference. I know. Like, I just fought him in the yard, bro. Now I'm fighting him in the wing, bro. I know 100% he had something in his hands. So Ren got Nengai in the cell, right? And Nengai said to Ren, all right, sweet, I'm done, one-on-one. Like, it's 1-1, I'm done. Like, sweet, all good. So we left the cell, we went down laps, and everyone was like loving Nengai because it was Ren, right? So Ren had, we ran gas, and Ren had a big name, and everybody was like, fucking Nengai got Ren, Nengai got Ren. No one cared that Nengai lost the second fight. And this is funny because I'll tell you what happened. So when Nengai beat Ren at Grafton in the yard, the whole jail watched it. The whole jail, right? When Ren and Nengai had the fight in the cell, only 2 people seen it. And that was them 2 because everyone else waited outside. Do you know what I mean? Nengai never come out busted up. Ren never come out busted up except from the first fight. So everyone got to see the result of Nengai beating Ren the first time, but no one got to see Ren beating Nengai the second time. So when Nengai come back out into the yard, everybody was showing Nengai the respect of, bro, I can't believe you done this to Ren. I can't believe this. I can't believe that. Well, Ren had to live with everyone knowing that in the yard, like, Nengai got him. They didn't see what happened in the cell. So anyways, fast forward, Ren ends up getting tipped. He had an issue with the officer there or something happened and he gets tipped. Well, when he leaves, the bloke that wrapped Ren's hands come out and said, listen, bro, when I wrapped his hands, he had 2 lighters in each hand. He told me not to tell anyone, and I didn't want to cause dramas because I knew what the result of that would have been. And we all know what the result. Nengai would have picked something up and went and got retaliation again because of the pride. And he would have like thought, nah, bruh, what, lad? No, you think I'm a ickhead, lad? Bang, and probably come back, GNS1, thank you, lad. I appreciate you, bro, with the first gift. He would have come back and wanted to seek revenge on what he just done to him out of pride. And so Nengai and Ren, bro, and everyone knows that story because Ren was in his prime back then. Nengai was an up-and-comer. God bless Nengai, bro. But Nengai lost his mind at the end. He used to, he went a little bit, mental illness got hold of him. And, but he was always a warrior, always down for the cause. And Nengai, you're forever missed. I'll tell you a story about Busta Burns and myself, right? And it was going to Grafton, and we didn't want to be at Grafton. So listen, again, this is all about pride, and this is all about wanting to get out of a jail and get back to a jail where we're comfortable at. So Grafton was way out of our area zone, bro. We didn't want to go to Grafton. It's like 12 hours away from Sydney. and we didn't want to be up there, right? Simple. So we're at Goulburn, and Corrective Services throw us in Segro because they think that we've got too much pull in the brothers' yard. What they want to do is they want to change the yard around, right? And they do this every 6 to 12 months. They'll change the yard around so you get different trumps in the yard and you don't have too many trumps in the one yard. And when they think that you're causing too much trouble, they will shift you around. So it got to that time where me, Ian Hammond, Busta Burns, Mookie Dunn, and other couple other brothers ended up getting tipped, right? Well, Buster and I got tipped to Grafton because we're a B classo, right? So Goulburn holds A's, B's, C's and E's, right? And this is how, when you're at Goulburn, you get stuck. You never leave Goulburn jail. If you go to Goulburn, you won't go to Goulburn anymore because it's a whole boneyard jail. But back in the day, if you went to Goulburn, you were never leaving Goulburn until you got released, because you'll go there as an A, you'll go there and get a B, then you'll get a C, and you'll go out the front. You fuck up with your C, you'll come straight back to Goulburn main, and you'll get a B, and you'll stay there. Goulburn keeps everybody that goes there. This is why people have done 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years straight at Goulburn, because you never ever leave that jail. Buster and I got tipped from Goulburn to Grafton. A couple other boys went to Lithgow. Buster and I went to Grafton, right? And they said to us, Corrective Services said, we're getting you out of Sydney. You're too much headaches. We're sending you up to Grafton, right? So Buster and I get on the truck, and all the way on the truck, Buster's saying, lad, I don't want to go up here. I said, either do I, bro. He said, I'm getting off the truck. I said, how are you going to get off the truck? Now, everybody has a different way of getting off the truck, right? People try to commit, fake heart attacks, or people will, swallow razor blades, or people will do whatever they think will get them off the truck. None of that works. None of it works. What happens is, if you tell them you swallow razor blades, they'll take you to the hospital. They'll X-ray you. There's nothing in your stomach. They'll put you on the next truck. If you pretend to have a heart attack, they'll take you to the clinic. They'll take you to hospital. They'll do your vitals. You're sweet. They'll put you back on the truck. You never get off a truck ride. It's simple. You might get off it that day, but you're going, right? So the best thing to do is get to the jail you're going to and get tipped, because you'll never ever get off a truck ride. That's a known fact in prison. Everybody's tried it. Not everybody, because I've never really cared on where I went. But, you will always end up on a truck. So the best thing is get to the jail, then get tipped. Because you remember, you don't want to be on the truck ride because you don't want to end up at that jail. You're not worried about the truck ride. You just don't want to go on the truck to where you're going. So the best thing for you to do is get on the truck, go to the jail, and do what you need to do to get out of that jail, right? So Buster Burns and I were on the truck. Now, when you leave Goulburn, or you're going to Grafton or wherever, back in the day, you used to stop at Cessnock overnight or a couple of days and continue through, right, to Grafton. You'll stop at Kempsey for lunch, and then you'll continue through, right? So we get to Cessnock, right? So from Goulburn to Silverwater, from Silverwater to Cessnock. Now we're sitting in the beer garden at Cessnock. Beer garden is a term for reception room at Cessnock. That's what they call it, right? It's like a little beer garden. You sit there and you wait till you go to your cell, right? So we're sitting in the beer garden, and Buster says, lad, tomorrow we're getting out of here. I said, yeah, sweet, not a problem, right? Double tap, repost, share, 2 fiery dragons. Double tap, repost, share, 2 fiery dragons. Let's Oj chat, get 300 in here. Let's do it. Double tap, repost, 2 fiery dragons. Let's go, chat. Otherwise, I forget what happened next. Oh, far out. Fiery dragon. What happened? A fiery dragon to refresh the memory? What was that? Management? Fiery dragon to refresh memory? No, I don't want to say that to him. You're crazy. Right? So anyways, we get to Cessnock, right? We get out the next morning, we see the boys, right? And they're spinning out like, oi, what are you doing, lad? What's going on? We're going to Grafton. Yeah, fuck, I don't want to go to Grafton. We think, all right, bro, we're going to attack somebody. All right, bang, you're it. There was no reason to attack anybody up there. There was nobody we disliked. There was nobody we had dramas with. We just chose somebody, right? And again, to all you young people in jail, this is what happens sometimes. If you need to have a way out, is it frozen? I don't know if I'm frozen. Fuck. I don't know if I'm frozen because I've seen all the heart stop. I've got to have a quick look, chat. Sorry. Oh, bro, this kills me, man. I got to get this phone tomorrow. Am I frozen? Am I frozen? Killer 2036, Eshay, my bro. You're good. Each one, done. All right, sweet. Sorry about that, chat. Yeah, so, again, this is what I'm saying to all the young'uns in here. Sometimes things happen that have no reason, there's no personal connection. It will just happen, right? So we end up choosing somebody. And it was like, oi, bro, you're it, you know? So we're sitting on the middle landing at Cessnock, and the boys are saying, what are you going to do? I said, bro, listen, we're getting out of here. We'll be back in Goulburn by tomorrow, right? So I said to Busta, what do you want to do, bro? Like, we'll just go and what are we doing? He said, bro, we're going to attack somebody. I said, yeah, sweet, right? So usually you go out of your way to attack somebody and not get caught for it, right? You get them in the shower block, you get them in the cell, you'll get them in a blind spot. If you don't know what a blind spot is in prison, it's a spot where there's no cameras and no officers can see. Now, very rarely now in New South Wales prison system is there a blind spot, but back in the day, jails were very dangerous for blind spots, especially 7 Yard at Goulburn. That used to have most of the blind spots in it, and that's now the Islander and Asian Yard in the back of Sea Wing. That was, when they talk about killing fields, that was the yard most of the illing case took place in when the jail was open at Goulburn. 7 Yard is the most deadliest yard at Goulburn because it held most of the darkest, blind spots. I was going to call them black spots then, but 7 Wing held most of the blind spots in Goulburn. Just the way the yard was shaped, the way it was off the circle, and where the tower was, it was just that yard, right? So, anyways, we've chose our victim. He's a sweeper, and we're gonna attack him, and we're not going to Grafton, right? So muster comes, lunchtime muster. We do lunchtime muster. We're doing it just before lock-in, right? So we get everything right. We're going to do it. Now the sweeper is down near the office, and at Cessnock 11 Wing, the yard's a big square. The office is right in the middle. You got the phone and that there in the clinic. Here you got a little kitchen and like a laundry part, right? The sweeper cell is the first cell on the right side of the yard, but up the front, directly straight in front of the line of the office. We don't want to get him in the cell because we want to get him in the open so we get caught for with it, right? So Buster picks up a broom, right? And I pick up a broom. And what we start doing is we start sweeping the yard, but we start sweeping towards where he is, right? So we're just sweeping, right? Unbeknown to anybody else, it just looks like, hey, they're cleaning the yard, right? So we're sweeping. We sweep the paths, we're sweeping the yard. We make our way to where he is, right? Now we wait for him to position himself in a place where it's open. I know it sounds stupid because you're trying to get away with an assault. We're actually trying to get pinched for this assault, right? He puts himself in a position where the whole jail can see him and the office. We make our move, right? Bang, the broom hits him over the back of the head. My broom hits him, right? And we're into him. Bang, 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 bang for a good 30 seconds, yeah? We drop the brooms, we walk off. We think, we're sweet. We're going back up to the cell, right? He gets up. He goes into where the clinic, like the kitchen part is in Cessnock, a little part. He washes up. He goes into his cell. He sits on his bed. Other sweepers go in and talk to him. They bring the dinners around. He gets mustered up. He hides his face. The sweeper the screw shut his door. He walks in, right? We're thinking, sweet. They're going to come back after lock-in. They're going to go straight to his cell. They're going to take him to the clinic. They're going to look on camera and we're going to go straight up to Segro, right? We pack our stuff after lock-in. They come and tell us and say, listen, you're on the truck tomorrow. Pack your stuff. take it to reception room. So we're down reception room for 2 hours. We're thinking, what the fuck is going on? We're still on this escort list. We come back to our cell. We get locked in, right? The next morning at 4 a.m., our doors open. We are still on the truck to Grafton. We got away with it. We actually got away with it. Like, if we didn't want to get away with it, like if we actually wanted to get away with it, we would have got pinched. We got away with bashing him in the middle of the yard with broomsticks in 11 wing. It is unheard of. We are on the truck to Grafton, burning, like full burning, right? We get to Grafton, bro. Like, we're like, fuck me, bro. What the uckface going on up here? We get to Grafton. We go 2 out. Now, we get out the next morning. We see the brothers, and you kind of think, you know what, it's not too bad. Fuck it. We're up there for 3 days, and then it's like, nah, lad, this is putrid. We're not staying here, bro. We're getting out of here, bro. Fuck this. Right? What are we going to do, lad? We're going to get someone, bro. All right, who are we going to get? Who knows? We'll choose on the day, but we're getting out of here, right? So anyways, 2 days go past, and like I start training. I think, fuck it, I'm here. I'm going to do what I have to do, right? Busta comes up to me this morning and says, lad, today's the day. We're leaving. I said, all right, sweet. What are we doing, bro? He said, bro, I'm just going to fucking attack somebody, all right? I said, yeah, sweet, all good. So we get locked in. He makes a razor, like a slasher from a razor blade and toothbrush. Now, if you don't know what a slasher is from a razor blade and toothbrush, you get a toothbrush, you melt it, you burn 2 razors into the side of the toothbrush, one this side, one this side, or 2 together, whichever way you want to do it. This time Busta made it with a blade there and a blade there, right? So it was one each side. Usually you make it with a blade there and a blade next to it. You know, so you can go like that. But he made one with a blade here and a blade down here a bit, right? So what happens is you get let out. Now, in Grafton, as I've said before, where Shannon and Ren had the fight, you got one small yard. But in that small yard, you got an awning part where you've got an outdoor gym. Now, in that outdoor gym, you got a weighted press machine and a chin-up bar, dip bar, and you got 2 exercise bikes that face or one wing, right? Officers at Grafton have an office in the corner for the area manager only. What's an area manager, you ask? He's an officer, 1 star, that is a pipper for this area, right? He has a star on his shoulder. Everyone else has 1 stripe to 3 stripes. Once you hit 3 stripes, you'll get a bar. Once you get the bar, then you become a pipper. That is an area manager. Then you get 2 star, 3 stars, acting governor, governor. That's the ranking of a New South Wales correctional officer, right? So in Grafton, the wing officers also sit out in the yard and they move themselves around the yard. It's not that big. You can sit in one part of the yard and see the whole yard, but they just move around and must follow the sun. Whatever reason they move around. Well, Busta says, listen, we're going to get someone. I said, yeah, sweet. Who we getting? We don't know. All right, sweet. So we come into the yard, right? Now this bloke jumps on an exercise bike and he takes his shirt off. And like he's harmless. He's not about it. He's harmless, right? And Busta, when me and Busta and I were doing laps, and Busta said, I found him. I said, who is it? And he said, that bloke on the exercise bike, bro, with no shirt on. I said, all right, and what are we doing? And we've done a lap. And he said, bro, I'm going to attack him with this. I looked at him and said, bro, like, why don't we just punch his fucking head in, bro? Like, there's no need. He said, bro, I'm getting out of here. I'm getting out of here and I don't care. I got away with that down there. Like, I am making sure this time I do not get away with it. Even if I get away with it, I'm not getting away with it. This is why. And see, this is the mentality of an inmate, right? He got away with bashing someone with a broomstick. He's not leaving this to chance. I'm going to cut him up so he has to go to the clinic. I'm going to cut him up so he has to go to the clinic. Do you hear that, bro? That is insane, bro. I'm getting pinched for this, bro. I will get pinched. I'm not taking the chances of putting my hands on him going to the cell and not being black and blue enough where he can actually get away with it. I will make sure that he needs to go to the clinic, bro, get stitches, staples, whatever it is, because I will be going to Goulburn from here. I said, yeah, sweet, do whatever you got to do, bro. Let's ode, right? So we do a lap a couple of times. Old mate's now talking to another bloke that's on the bike, right? There's 2 yard bikes there, exercise bike. We walk into the gym, right? The bloke that we're about to get is talking to another bloke. The bloke that he's talking to looks at Busta and I and says, hey, what are you doing, Busta? How are you, Kari, right? Yeah, we're all good, bro. What are you doing? He said, just trying to get the legs in, each way. We abort there and then because old mate then looks at Busta and says, oh, how are you, mate? And introduces himself to Busta. Busta gives him the cold shoulder. Doesn't give his name, doesn't say anything, just gives him the cold shoulder. We walk off. And Busta says, bro, next time I'm getting him, right? So we do a lap, we turn around, we come back towards the gym, Busta pulls it out, old mate's riding the bike, Busta walks straight up to him, bang, bang, bang. 4 or 5 biggest slashes you'll ever see. When he slashed the first one, old mate, it must have been that quick and that painless because it was that deep. He looked at Busta and said, what are you doing? He only registered when he seen Busta's hand come back down because old mate's turned like that. Busta's gone straight for his face to come straight down. Old mate's pulled back, right? Tried to get off the bike now because he's seen what Busta's doing. Busta's gone again, bang. It's come down straight down the back of his head, down his shoulder. He's tried to turn around to see what Busta's doing and what he's got. Busta goes bang again, straight across the front of his chest. Bro, now the first one on his back is starting to bleed. It was that deep when he first cut him. It was just white. Inside him was just white. It took that long of a clean cut for that to bleed. Now this bloke's been slashed 3 or 4 times and Busta's walked off. Old mate is freaking. He's taken off out into the middle of the yard, covered in blood now. Freaking, right? Busta's gone up through the razor blade and the toothbrush in a toilet, doesn't try to flush it. The 2 officers that are sitting down in the yard on the chair have seen this bloke step out from underneath the awning and into the yard. And he's like, what the fuck? They've now seen him. They're freaked. They've pressed their pendant alarm. They've got a little black box with a red button on it. That lets people know when they've been assaulted or if they bend over 95 degrees. So if an officer bends over more than 95 degrees, this will automatically go off. How do I know that? Probably don't worry, right? But anyways, right, if they bend over too far, it will go off, right? If you want to do funny business with them, you need to take it out and sit it in a cup so it stays upright, because if they bend over, it will automatically go off because they think they're being knocked out or there's something wrong with them, right? So they press their pendant alarm, bang, screws come running. Now, it was only 5 or 6 screws, but because Grafton's so small, it looks like bulky screws. Busta's doing laps up and down. This bloke has just been slashed and attacked. Busta and I are doing laps together. They call a lock-in, right? The clinic comes out of the side door. They take him into the clinic. They're working on him as they take him in. The screws all rush to us, trying to get us into 1 wing, right? Now, 2 wing was still at work, so they only have to control 1 wing, literally. So they get us all locked in. Busta and I are downstairs, right? So we're 2 out, right? They lock us in. Bruh, listen to this. This is fucking trippy as shit, right? Listen to this. 3 hours go by. We're all still locked in, right? Our cell next to us, Stephen Bassett's his name. If you know who Stephen Bassett is, you know who Stephen Bassett is, right? He was next to us. They grab him, they take him. He comes back in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, right? They come to my cell. They say, Car, you want it? I said, what for? They said, you want it at reception room. I said, what for? And they said, you'll find out when you get there. I get to reception room. It's Grafton detectives, right? I said, what's going on? They said, mate, I said, I don't give a fuck, fuck off. I'm not saying nothing. They said, what's your name? I said, fuck you, know who I am. I walked off, right? When I get back to the cell, I said, Busta coppers are there, right? This person hasn't said anything. And because the assault took place under the awning, the cameras don't go under there, right? Listen to this, bro, right? So he's now been attacked, got up and got out from underneath the awning, right? But when he first got attacked, it didn't catch anything because all they could see was like just under the awning. They couldn't see everything, right? So they didn't see the attack take place. When he goes to the clinic, he doesn't want to tell. He says, I don't know. I had me back turned. They've attacked me by like, I don't know. I don't know who it was. Even though he's seen who it was, he still didn't tell, right? So now they had to get the police involved. The police are coming there trying to investigate, trying to get someone to tell, right? How unlucky is Busta? Well, Busta's not copping this, bro. He's like, yeah, fuck, bro. No way this can be going on. Seriously? 2 assaults, 2 fucking, nah, bro, fuck this. So the coppers come, they interview me. I said, go and get fucked. I know what you're talking about. I go back in the cell. Buster says, what's going on, bro? I said, fucking coppers are there, bro. He said, what? I said, yeah, coppers. Oi, Burns, you wanted. What for? They said, you want a reception room. He said, who's down there? They said, don't worry, you'll see when you get there. I said, bro, the fucking Ungies down there. Bro, 5 minutes goes by, 10 minutes goes by, 15 minutes goes by, 20 minutes goes by. Bro, they open my fucking door up with a tub, right? And they say, oi, pack your cellmate stuff, he won't be coming back. And I said, what? What's going on? And they said, pack your cellmate stuff, they won't be coming back, he won't be coming back. So I think, fuck, what? They got him, right? Somehow they've got him, right? So anyways, I'm packing the stuff, right? About an hour and a half later, this different screw comes and opens my door, right? It's now been a shift change, right? So this screw comes and opens my door and he says, oh, have you got fucking Busta's stuff? Like, have you got John's stuff ready? That's Busta's original name, John Burns, right? And I said, yeah, what's going on? And he said, mate, I don't know what he doesn't like about this jail, but he walked straight into the interview room and said, I know what you're here for and I fucking did it. Yes, I slashed him and I don't give a fuck. You do what you got to do, but I'm the bloke that slashed him. The policeman looked at each other and looked at him and thought, are you serious? Like, Buster just thought, you know what? I am not taking the chance, bruh. I hate grafting that much. I'm walking straight in here and I'm saying, listen, I done it. Yeah, it was me. I done it. Now get me out of here, right? Bruh, but listen to this. Yeah, listen to this, bruh. And listen to who ends up on the truck first, right? So anyways, they charge him, right? And they give him a court date, right? It was like a week or 2 later. So he's now in Segro, right? I'm still in the jail, right? So he's in Segro. He's upstairs now. Like I said, there's only 2 wings. So he's in 2 wing, but on one side where there's protection and all these other there's females there because they're going to like Tablem and Lismore for court, and there's no other jail past Grafton, right? So he has to go to Grafton local court 2 weeks later, so they keep him there, right? And then after, because he pleads guilty, they keep him at Grafton. He gets another local court matter 2 weeks later, they keep him there. Then he gets a district court matter for sentencing 4 weeks later, they keep him there. Well, in this period of 8 weeks, I end up getting into a fight with an officer and banging an officer in the yard. I go to Segro and fucking get tipped straight away. He stays up there for an extra 9 weeks and gets 15 months for the slashing and then gets tipped. He was burning, bro. He was burning, like, so it didn't matter. He still done like 10 extra weeks after he done it, got an extra 15 months, but he, you know what? He got back to goal, man. And that 15 months didn't bother him, but yeah, lad, like, what the fuck? Oh, bro, I'll never forget that. That was fucking trippy as shit, bro. But that's Busta Burns for you. Like, he passed too now, which is sad, but even when he passed, like, yeah, it went pretty south for him, bro. You know, frozen. I'm frozen. Yeah, crazy, right? Was that not crazy? Oh, it was unbelievable, bro. And to get away with it twice, he literally got away with it, bro. Got all the yarns. Oh, Dr. Stuntwell. Yeah, I have got photos of Busta. Yeah, Busta Burns, Dick. Yeah, doing, Shane. How are we, bro? Yeah, the 210. Yeah, listen, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go through the photos. I'm going to start putting photos to my phone and I'll start. Yeah, see, tricky yarn. Janaea. Yeah, we'll see. Listen, chat, if you don't know who Busta is, go to Aboriginals vs. Lebanese, right? In the race war that I spoke about earlier and that I'm part of, the bloke doing all the punching and the kicking, the very last bloke, so the bloke in the white singlet is Kevin Hinton. The bloke that I think Busta's got no shirt on, he's the very last person on that Lebanese dude. That is Busta Burns. So if you want to know who Busta Burns is and you're unsure of who Busta Burns is, go and watch that video. It's on my YouTube channel. It's Lebanese versus Aboriginal inmates Lithgow Correctional Centre. And the fight that takes place that is Busta Burns. The very last person that you see fighting that Lebanese dude is Busta Burns. So, yeah, go and check it out. No, he didn't. Something else happened. Busta? No, something else happened years and years later. Yeah, yeah. Busta did. Are you talking about Busta? Yeah, yeah. You got to be quick, Adam. That's it, my bro. Nah, Busta passed away, bro. Did you do Paul Moroney? John Moroney you talk about? Yeah, I was at John Moroney, yeah. Busta passed away. Yeah, wait, Jay Lax, what's happening, bro? Yeah, bro. Yeah. Apples, you know apples, do you? Apples, eh? That was fighting, yeah, bro. Dubbo boy, main 68. Or how old was Busta? Busta will be close to 50 now, bro. If he was alive, yeah. Yeah. Anyone in Melbourne? Yeah, I do. I know a couple of people in Melbourne, yeah, yeah. But yeah, that was Busta, bro, yeah. Yeah, 53, is he, Shane? No way. Busta was 50. If he was alive now, he'd be 53, Shane. No way. No way. I don't know. Someone said he passed away from a car accident. I think he passed. I am close with Kiwis. Yeah, bro. Did he pass away from a car accident? Yeah, no way, Shane. Yeah. Oh, hey, what's happening, Zone? How are we, bro? RBS, yeah. RIP, yeah. I do know a couple of Albanians, bro, yeah. Or the Aboriginal followed the life creator, Eshe, my bro. Yeah, so I think he passed away from a car accident. But Greggy Carr, yeah, I do know Greg, yeah. Ibby Hamsey, I do know Ibby Hamsey. Oi, the Aussie boy, thank you. Taza. Oi, Teza. You're talking about Taza from Matraville? Toza, yeah. Yeah. Oi, Willie, Zachy Gordon, Sampo, yeah. Teza, yeah, I know Teza. I just done I was, yeah. Toza, fuck, that's a name I haven't heard for ages, bro. CB Hornets for Newcastle Yards. Who you reckon would win? Oi, Sherberg Hornets and bro, that'd be a good game. I'll have to go for the Yowies, eh? Yeah, I'll have to go for the Yowies, bro. Yeah, but NASA, no way NASA's here. Where you been, bro? We ain't a gang, we're a family, bro. What happened? Where you been, my cuz? Yeah, Sampo's locked up, bro. Sampo's still locked up, lad, yeah. Oi, NASA, I need one fiery dragon, my cuz. I tell Bill to flip. Yeah, 100. Yeah, I know, bro. I know, I've been talking to Mobtana. Me and Mobtana's been talking, bro. Bro, his order day was there. Yeah, but his order day was there, lad. Like, we went there and his order day was there, lad. He had his daughter. Wait, but don't worry. Wait, there's time and places, bro. Time and places. Tracy, thank you for the follow. Yeah, so Busta ended up going to Goulburn after that. Got 15 months. And he was like happy, bro. So he had to hand himself in to get caught or to get out. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. That's right. Oi, bro, Shorty. Shorty's good, bro. Shorty's hectic. God bless my bro. Oi, NASA, one fiery dragon before you jet. Get me to A-League. Yeah, Tommy. Yeah, we're sweet, bro. We're always sweet. It's TikTok. Listen, I'll tell you one. Listen, I'll tell you one that I haven't seen before, right? That I haven't spoke about before, right? No, Shay staying. All right, well, oi, can you drop a uni for me? Bruh, what? I thought Hemo was living with Dave, Shane. I thought Hemo was living with Shane in Alexandria. Is he back in Wello? No way. Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, I thought he was up here. Oi, Shane, I thought Ian was up here in Alexandria with Dave. No way. That's crazy. Yeah, they do. Anyways, this murder, all right? This murder may happen at Cessnock. Now listen to this, right? So, nah, bro. Nah. I'm not about that life anymore, bro. I'm not about that life. At any... Neck knock, yeah. Oh, yeah, turn the comment. Oi, we need... Chat, listen, 2 fiery dragons to get me to A-League. That's all we need. 2 fiery dragons to get me to A-League. Let's own. If we can get to A-League, I need 2 fiery dragons and 1 private jet. That's all we need, chat. Can we do it? Oi, can we do it? For the next yarn, we need it. It's up to yous. Up to yous. But listen, so this one I've never spoke about, right? This happened at Cessnock and it was over gambling. So to the young people out there, if you want to do ALJ quietly, don't touch UGDRAs, don't get involved in politics, don't get involved in UGDRAs, and don't get involved in gambling. 3 rules to stay away from in ALJ. Do not involve yourself in any of these 3 and you should get through jail sweet, right? Now, what happened was, they were playing 41. Don, Pizza, Eshay, my brother, thank you very much. I appreciate you, bro. They were gambling, right? And they were playing 41. I'm a Jack with the 210 hat. Thank you. They were playing 41. Now, they're playing 41 for big money, right? So every corner was playing for whatever their price was, okay? And I'm unsure of what the price was, but... So I just reached level 38, right? So I need, I don't know, I need something. Anyways, what's going on here? I just reached level 38 or something, so I need these 2 gifts to make A-League. Anyways, so they were gambling and every corner had a price, right? So what happened was they were playing, the Lebanese were playing these 2 British dudes, right? Now, the Lebanese were winning, right? Then they played and they played and they played and they played and they played. The British dude, he paid, right? Fair's fair. So he played, and it was big money, right? And he paid. So then, bang, played again all week, right? And at the end of the week, you pay your bill, right? So this week, it was the Pommy dude that won, right? But they wanted to read, NASA, thank you for the roses. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you very much. So the Pommy dude won, right? And then the Lebanese paid, so it was all good. The 3rd week comes around, right? And the Pommy dude was winning big money because it was now double or nothing. So 1 grand turned into 2. I'm a Jack, thank you. 2 grand turned into 4. 4 grand turned into 8. 8 grand turned into 16, right? NASA, you're a legend, bro. Thank you for the roses. Then what happened was the Lebanese dudes won, right? Now the rumor is that they cheated the last game and got out of like paying, then played 1 hand for big money. So no double or nothing, just 4 grand a corner or 5 grand a corner, 20 grand's on the table, 1 game, winner takes all, right? Again, the rumor was they cheated, like this dude cheated, right? Now, old mate said, I'm not paying. NASA with the money going, Eshay lad, bang. So the Pommy dude said, I'm not paying, right? And the Lebanese dude said, yes, you will be, bro. Like, you'll be paying, simple. Like, there's no not paying, right? Oi, thank you, everyone. Fat and NASA, thank you very much. You will be paying, right? He said, no, I'm not paying. So obviously there's going to be dramas, right? Now, a couple of days went by, and Nasser, you're a legend, bro. Thank you very much for all the gifts, bro. I appreciate you so much. Now, a couple of days went by. This bloke works in the kitchen, right? They must have planned what they're going to do. So this bloke goes to the kitchen, right, goes to work. The boys come in and they clear the whole wing. Now, me and my mate was sitting up on a landing. Nasser, thank you for that fucking hat, lad. Bush, I appreciate you, bro. We were sitting up on a landing playing doocy. If you don't know what doocy is, it's a form of backgammon, and it's a board. And you got to roll and you move your pieces around, right? So we're playing backgammon, yeah? So when the boys come through to clear all the wing, they didn't see us up the top. Anyways, that's Shay. I love you, my cuz. That's Shay. Oh, that looked hectic. That looked hectic. That was hectic. Anyways, I love you, my cuz. Thank you very much. One more. Please help her. She's achieved this live goal on her own. She dropped the meteorite shower, and now she's dropped a fiery dragon with a love heart. Can someone come in and back her up? Less urge. I'm sure someone's got a fiery dragon in them. I'm sure they have. So anyways, the Lebanese boys, they come in and cleared the whole wing, right? Now, when they done this, they didn't see me and my mate upstairs playing backgammon, right? They didn't see us, right? After that, so they've gone around, boys leave the yard, leave the wing, leave the yard, go to the yard, go to the yard, go to the yard, go to the yard. Alex, who's the one that ends up doing the business, he gets 23 years for this Erdemay too, bro. He's now been deported, right? He comes into the wing, right? And he goes straight into old mate's cell. Now, old mate, in his cell, he had, you know, the streamers that come down that stop the flies and shit from going into your cell? Like they'll yellow, white, blue, green, and all them streamers that you hang over the door. Well, he had that set up in his cell, right? So there'll be like, it'll keep the cool out, it'll keep the heat out, it'll keep the flies out, and you couldn't see into his cell when his door was open, right? So Alex hides in his cell. Old mate comes back from work. Remember, the boys have come through and cleaned everybody out of the wing because they know what's about to happen. So they don't want anybody in the wing when this goes down. But we're sitting upstairs on the landing plane doocy on two crates, right? We see Alex go straight into his cell. NASA and I'm a Jack, thank you very much. I appreciate you so much. We see Alex go straight into his cell, right? Now, the pommy dude comes straight back, right? And goes into his cell from work. Well, this dude has, you know, the clinic the kitchen pants, the black and white checkered pants and a white top. He wears that back from the kitchen. He goes to walk in his cell. Thank you, NASA. He goes to walk in his cell. As he walks in his cell, we see him come backpedaling out, right? And Alex comes out behind him. I think I see Alex hit him. Bang. That's what I think, right? It doesn't punch him. The only reason we can tell that he wasn't getting punched is because he had a white T-shirt on and you could see all the blood spots starting to form. Like where he just got abstayed, right? So this bloke comes running out of his cell. Alex is now chasing him. He's in the middle of the yard, right? He's been stabbed 3 or 4 times. So he must have got abstayed as soon as he walked into the cell. He's flew out. As he was flying out and he got caught up in his streamers, right, trying to get out, Alex's old mate's turned around to face walking out of his cell. Alex hit him again and got him in the back of the neck, right, like in the side of the neck from behind. The bloke walks out, Alex walks out and he darts, right, and he throws the A-blade on the roof and he cuts. Old mate turns around and he puts his shoulder to his neck. But as he turns around, he looks straight up at us. When I seen the look in this bloke's eyes, it was freaky, bro. You know when someone knows that they're not going to make it. The look in this bloke's eyes spoke to me, bro. Now, I know this part's irrelevant to anybody, but all you people sleep to get rest. That's when my torment begins. Like, honestly, when I sleep, I see things, I remember things, and I go through things that I have seen or been part of or whatever it may be. But this is one of the things that keeps coming back to me in my sleep. Besides our own murder and other things that we've been involved in, like, I see this bloke in my sleep, because when him and I made eye contact, and he knows I can't help him, I know that I can't help him. When our eyes made eye contact, we had a conversation with each other without words. Do you know how intense and daunting that was? I spoke to this bloke without actually talking to this bloke, and he spoke to me without talking to me, just by staring in each other's eyes. And like, he knew, I knew that he was finished. He knew that he just told me that, listen, I'm dying. He put his shoulder to his neck, trying to stop it. He's walked backwards towards the yard. The screws have now come out, right? Because they've seen him, right? Because he's like stumbling in the yard. They have now called the clinic, right? But they're thinking he's that stabbed up. Instead of laying him down, which they should have, they tried to walk him to meet the clinic. He starts to stumble and fall. He's now losing blood, and the blood is massively like draining from his body. They start to walk into the clinic. The clinic start to like get towards him. He drops finally before he gets to a gate that leads down the chute to get to the clinic. He drops. They start working on him there, right? We decide we've got to get out of this wing, bruh. We leave and exit the yard, right? We get out and we're in another part of the jail, right? They're working on this bloke in the middle of a like gate where a chute is to get back to the clinic at Cessnock, and he's deceased. We end up getting locked in. We're locked in for like 5 or 6 weeks. They find the knife. They come and get Alex. Alex gets 23 years jail. He was only doing 4 years. He was doing 4 years. He was only doing 4 years. Wait, they let me count. He was doing 4 years. What are you kidding at? Oh my God. You know what I mean? 4 years, right? He was only doing 4 years, bro. He ended up doing 27 years over this murder because he got 23, and that 23 had to start after his 4 years over a murder. So the bloke ended up dying. Alex got 23 years for it. He lost his life over a card game, over debts, and possibly someone done 23 years over not wanting to pay a debt, but wanting someone to pay him for losing, but he was cheating. This is what I'm saying. The politics and the gambling in jail is dangerous, and it can end up losing your life. So yeah, that was one that I haven't spoke about. I don't want to really give too much detail on that because I'm going to tell that on my YouTube channel, and I've got someone else that was there at the time, and we're going to kind of bounce off each other and talk about it. This bloke was a bloke that I played Doocy with. He's now out. So yeah, we're going to just probably have a chat about that and talk about the time he's done. He's been to Supermax. He's been to the STG. He's done a lot of jail too. When I drop you his name, everyone that's done jail in New South Wales will know this bloke as well. So yeah, so I didn't really go into much detail, but that is one murder, mate, or unaliving that I have seen. I've seen a couple throughout my time in prison. I've seen San Frisco Lara Gomez. He lost his life at Long Bay. So yeah, like and yeah, some of them are just, you know, like crazy, bro. I've been in a cell when my cellmate hung himself. I woke up to my cellmate hanging. He passed away over a girl at Bathurst. Like, I woke up and my cellmate was like hanging from the back of the bed because he had an argument with his girl. That was a crazy time to wake up and see my cellmate hanging, and I heard him doing it and I didn't wake up, and I woke up to go to the toilet and he was hanging there. Yeah. Oi, Danny, thank you, my bro. Yeah, crazy. I might tell that James Natoko. No, I don't. And the dream thing. Yeah. NASA, you're a legend, bro. Thank you very much for all the roses, bro. Hey, Jolie, thank you for the follow. Why wouldn't I stop him? Who's that, Tash? My cellmate? That's heavy, cuz. A lot of trauma, yeah. 41, bro. Yeah, Hux G. Wow, NASA, Eshe, bro. Thank you for the fireworks, bro. I appreciate you. Why didn't I stop him? I was asleep. I woke up and he was dead. No, I don't know Mo Lester. So in Bathurst, in Bathurst, you have a cupboard there and you can move it around. And yeah, the nightmares are crazy. Yeah. The nightmares are pretty bad, bro. Matty, and that's what I'm saying to people. AC Doocy, backgammon, yeah, bro. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard, bro. It's hard sometimes. This is why I'm up now still, bro. This is why I'm up. Yeah, well, 41 is like euchre, but you follow suit, and hearts are trumps. So if you've got a spade, you play a spade. If you don't have a spade and it's your partner's trick, you throw off. If it's not your partner's trick, you take it with a heart. Yeah, so yeah, but yeah, that's right. So nah, Tibos, no, I don't. No, I don't. But yeah, 41. Yeah, that's what it's called, EJ. So yeah, with my cellmate hanging himself, what happened was he was at. Yeah, I did do a bit of juvie, bro. He was at. I'll tell the story real quick. Wait there. Do you want to hear the story about when my cellmate hung himself at Bathurst, or should I save that for tomorrow? You played it a bit, SJ, for the 210 hat. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do play chop, but it's like NASA. Thank you very much. You're a legend, bro. Yeah, all right. Tell us. Well, listen, chat. If you want me to tell you the story of how my cellmate hung himself, I need one fiery dragon. Got yous. Can we get one fiery dragon? Push me to A-League. Let's urge. Chance. Yeah, I'll tell you. When we get one fiery. NASA with the confetti, lad. You're a legend, bro. I appreciate you, Nas. You don't have to drop any more, bro. We're family. Dragon chat, you forgot the story. No, I'll never forget the story. That syndicate with the rose, that's Shay, my bro. I appreciate you. The family's back. That's Shay, lad. I appreciate you. NASA with a galaxy, no way. Thank you very much, bro. Moff still here, bro. Yeah, he is, bro. He's still syndicate. Thank you very much with the puff me. Wayne, no, I don't know Wayne, bro. Here, we're going to turn these off. Listen, chat, we need one. Thank you, syndicate. I love you, bro. You're a legend. ROBIN210 official. Go and get yourself a shirt, chat. Buy a shirt. Buy some stuff from the ROBIN210 official. Go and get some shirts. Some women wear's dropping soon. You're going to love it. Thank you, the syndicate. I appreciate you, bro. Muchly appreciated. We ain't a gang. We're a family. Eshay Nasser. Thank you very much. My cellmate hanged himself at Bathurst, right? This is the story of that. Legend Nas, I appreciate you, bro, for the confetti. What happens is he argues with his, oi, Alex, with the first gift ever. Thank you very much. He has an argument with his girlfriend in the day, right? And he's an African dude. So what happens is we get locked in that night and I'm talking to him. He's only a young fella. And I said, listen, bro, it's always hard when you're in prison. I get it. Like, love hurts right now. It's hard. I get that, bro. But tomorrow's it's gonna be easier. And every day goes on and on and on. It will get easier. Right now, bro, it's fucking itchy, bro. And he's full crying, like dripping from the nose. And I felt bad for him because he was only a young dude, right? And I said, listen, bro, look, at the end of the day, like, she's got her life to live. And if she doesn't want to live it as part of this, you got to respect it, bro. Like, this is where you've ended up because you've chose to. Like us as men, we don't have the right to ask somebody to stay. If they choose to stay, that's hectic, but we can't expect them to stay because they've got a life to live as well. And sometimes they just don't want to be part of this life, bro. I know it sounds shit. I know it sounds terrible, but you have to understand that, like, you're young, she's young, and like, there's going to be other chances of love, bro. It just hurts right now, you know? And he's like, yeah, I know, right. So what happened was I spoke to him for about 2-3 hours. I got to about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. I handed him the remote, right? And he was sitting on a chair in the cell. He's on the top bunk. And he was sitting on the chair next to my bed in the cell, right? So I said, here, bro, listen, take the remote. Like, watch TV, do whatever you want. Like, I'm going to go to sleep. Are you okay? He said, yeah, I'm good, bro. Like, eat swell, right? So to get up on the bunk at Bathurst, there used to be a cupboard, and the cupboard was detached from a wall, so you could move it around and you could like refurnish your cell or do whatever you want. You know, it was a metal cupboard. But what he used to do was he used to put his foot on the middle part of the bunk where you got the rod, and put his other foot on the cupboard and spring from the cupboard to the bed. So I used to hear this cupboard 8-9 times a night, right? Getting up, getting down, getting up, getting down, go to the toilet, get back up, get down, go to the toilet, get back up. And I used to hear it like 9 times, 8 times a night, right? So when I heard it like an hour and a half into when I was trying to get to sleep, I just assumed that he was getting up on his bed. Fair call, right? When I heard it again half hour later, I just assumed he was using it to get off his bed, right? I didn't hear it again. So I go to sleep. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning and the TV's still on. That's fine, because I need white noise. Because what I've gone through and some of the stuff that goes through my mind of a nighttime, I need to hear background noise, because otherwise I get caught in my own thoughts and I start thinking and like replaying what I'm seeing, you know. And sometimes I see the Alex Erdeme, sometimes I see mine, sometimes I revisualize when I got stabbed 20 times, like, and how it felt and what I felt like. And so there's a lot of things that go through my mind when I'm trying to sleep, right? And that's not your problem, that's mine. I get that, but I'm just explaining the story. So the TV was on, and like when I got up, I looked for the remote, right? And I thought, I'll put it on timer. Well, we used to have a blanket off the side of the bunk going up into the mirror with a knife. So that toilet part would be your private part, right? Like you no one could see you sit on the toilet or do whatever you've got to do, right? So the blanket was up. And I thought, fuck, that's weird, because we usually take it down before we go to bed, because that would hamper him getting up and down, because you could get your foot stuck in it, right? So I thought, that's weird. So what I did was I grabbed the bottom of the blanket and I threw it over the top of the blanket so I could get underneath it and it would just rest on itself, right? So I go and I do that, and I go and I sit on the toilet to piss, right? I don't stand up to piss because it's night time. I don't want it to make a noise when it hits the water, and I don't want to miss, right? Because I don't want to have to turn the light on, so it's safer to sit and it's cleaner. I still do it today, right? That's a different story. Anyways, when I was sitting down to piss, something caught my eye, and it was like, what the fuck? It was my cellmate hanging off the top of the bunk with shoelaces. What he had done was he used the cupboard to get on top of the bunk, and when he was ready to like just fall off, he used the foot that he had on the cupboard to push it against the wall, and then he just let himself go. And he didn't hang himself and snap his neck. He choked himself, right? So at Bathurst, you don't have an intercom in your cell. You have a button that you press and they have to come to your cell. So you can't tell them, like, so let me explain what an intercom is. If you haven't done prison, in a cell, you have an intercom, right? And it's on the wall. And you press it and it's got a microphone. And the clinic, or the officer that's sitting at the clinic will ask you, what's your medical emergency? And then you'll go into what your emergency is. If you use this for other reasons, they just hang up or they get smart or whatever, right? 9 times out of 10, you buzz them up, you want a Panadol. Or, you know, like if you're locked in of a morning and you're not getting out and it's 8:30, people will buzz up and say, we getting locked in? Are we locked in today, Chief? We don't know. Don't use this. It's a medical emergency, rah, rah, rah. But they can actually communicate back with you, right? At Bathurst, there is no communication till they get there. So I press the buzzer, right? I'd now turn my light on. I rip the blanket off the bed and out of the window, and I try to hold him up, all right? I can't get my fingers through the shoelace. It's that tight. I can't get my fingers between his neck and the shoelace. It just won't happen, right? There's a peephole at Bathurst. It's about that big. It's no word of a lie. It's probably maybe a couple of centimetres bigger than that, right? So you've got to try to look through that. The screws will not open your door of a night time at Bathurst because they believe it breaks protocol, right? And when they come up, they didn't come up with the clinic because they don't know what I'm buzzing up for, remember? You can't talk to them. So I've got my light turned on. I'm standing at the back of the cell trying to hold my cellmate up. They come through and says, Car, what's your medical emergency? I said, my fucking cellmate, he's fucking hanging himself. And they're saying, come to the front of the door. We can't hear a word you're fucking saying. I said, my fucking cellmate is fucking hanging himself. And they're trying to look through the door, right? And I'm fucking trying to look around the corner of my cellmate because he's in front of me and I'm trying to hold him up. And they're saying, what the fuck are you doing? I said, I've fucking got my cellmate. He's fucking hanging off the bed. Then they radio through to somebody else. They come up and I'm saying, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? Another screw comes up who had the night key. See, them two officers, I didn't know this, don't have the night key to open my cell, right? The officer opens my cell, pulls a bolt and tells me to step to the back of the cell, like let go of him. And I said, what the fuck? Like my fucking cellmate. So I put him down. I stepped to the corner of the cell. They told me to walk to the front of the cell. They handcuffed me to the bars out the front, then go into my cell. They lift him up. They try to cut it with like they've got this little knife. It's got like a hook on it. They cut it. They lay him down in my cell and they couldn't even get their fingers through. It was that tight. They couldn't get anything through. They had to get the hook under the rope and try to cut it like that. By this time, they're radioed through to the clinic. The clinic all come running up, right? As they come running up to me, the clinic says to me and the other screws, what the fuck you done? What have you fucking done? What the fuck have I've done? Nothing. It's what yous haven't done that's fucking worrying me. These the blokes like, what the fuck? But when I grabbed him, I knew that he was half by gone because he was just stiff and dead weight. But I didn't know how long he'd felt being like that. I didn't know if it just happened. I didn't know, right? Because, you know, when you're asleep, like 1 hour feels like 4 or 1 hour feels like 10 minutes. You just didn't know, right? And all I can remember is like what I heard and how long after it felt like when I was laying down trying to sleep. That's the timeline I had, right? So anyways, they're working on him in my cell. They declare him in my cell, right? So then they want to take me to the clinic and then put me in a dry cell. I refuse, right? But I can't stay in my cell because they're now saying it's a crime scene because it's happened after lock-in. He's just hung himself. I need to go somewhere, right? So where do I end up? In fucking Segro. In a fucking Segro cell with no TV, no doona, no mattress, no nothing. They had to bring a mattress in. They give me jail blankets. So I feel now I'm being punished for buzzing up, trying to help my cellmate, and I'm being punished, right? So the next morning, he's been declared. He's now passed, right? So the whole jail's locked in the next day. All they know is I've gone to Segro through the night, and the sweepers are telling everybody fucking REK cellmate died, bro. Like REK cellmate's died. Where's Kari? He's in Segro. What the fuck? We heard nothing. The police come into the wing that day. They go around and ask everybody in the wing, did you hear anything? Did you hear anything? What did you hear last night? What did you hear last night? So obviously I didn't do anything and nobody heard anything. Then they come to my cell, take me out, try to interview me. And all I could say to them was, listen, I woke up. My cellmate was hanging. This is what I heard. I don't fucking know what happened other than I woke up and he's like this. That's it. I can't tell you anything. I was freaking for months, bro, thinking these people are going to come back and charge me for something that I had nothing to do with because my cellmate's now passed away, in my cell, right? So I get seen by a psych, right? So a psych comes and sees me and says, like, what happened? I said, I don't know. Like, honestly, don't know. I woke up, he was like that. He was having an issue with his girlfriend. We spoke about it. He said he felt okay. I went to bed. I woke up to do a piss. He was hanging like that. He didn't hang himself. He didn't snap his neck. He actually suffocated himself. He choked himself by the shoelace being that tight, like he actually couldn't breathe. So it was like he just stayed there and choked himself until he couldn't breathe anymore. That's how he ended up passing away, not by snapping his neck or hanging himself, just fully just choking himself. Well, anyways, I was going to see the psych, right? So after a week, I started seeing the psych regularly because she wanted to talk to me. Well, after 3 months of seeing the psych, she turns around and says to me, listen, I think you're playing this and get over it. I was like, what? She said, listen, I think you're playing on this now, trying to get some sort of result at court, and you just need to get over it and move on. It's done now. We get that you're in the cell, but it's not really that bad. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I don't want to live with anybody anymore. I don't want to hear anybody in my cell, because every time they move, I'm not sure if they're going to do anything stupid. So every time my cellmate moves now, I'm up for 2 hours thinking I can't relax, because what if he's going through something and he doesn't tell me and he wants to hang himself? Like, I don't trust anybody anymore. So anytime I had a cellmate and they moved, I'd get up and I'd wait around for an hour. Like, bro, this is not healthy for me. I can't be living like this. This is one of the reasons I ended up on a medical 1-out. If you don't know what a medical 1-out is, it's where you get a certificate from a doctor saying you cannot be housed with any other inmates because you either bash them or whatever reason you have. And a lot of people come up with heaps of different reasons. One of the main reasons where a lot of people use that because they've been sexually assaulted or they've had trauma in their life, they piss the bed still, and it's embarrassing to change the sheets of a morning with a cellmate and have the cell smell like piss. Some of it was true, some of it wasn't, but that's how they get a 1-out. I got a 1-out because I was violent and because I didn't trust my cellmates when I go to sleep, because if they moved, I used to think that they were planning stuff, you know what I mean, to hurt themselves, not hurt me, but to hurt themselves, and I didn't want to be put back in the situation of having a cellmate hang himself and then that continually looked like, you know, it was me. But yeah, my African cellmate hung himself and I woke up to find him hanging by a shoelace, bro. Like, that's crazy, eh? Yeah, bro. And this is what I mean, bro. Like, there's a lot of things that we don't share on TikTok. There's a lot of things that we don't go into much detail about. Because if I went into detail on half of the stories that I have told, you would be amazed. You would actually be amazed. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff we keep out for the purposes of TikTok. You'll actually, 80, Vic, how are we, bro? Yeah, so... Oi, Matty, thank you, bro. Yeah, nah, bro. Oi, it is what it is, bro. But yeah, it's crazy, eh? Yeah, bro.